Hey y'all, welcome back to Terra Talks Ryan Listens.
You are now tuned in to TTRL. It's your man Ryan C, aka Ryan.
And it's T-Car or Tara. And just wanted to say thanks for everyone who is listening. And, thank you for everyone sending feedback. We love it. And I hope you guys enjoyed the engagement episode. So far, that one's my favorite. I'm still super excited to be engaged.
Thank you for all the congratulations and the best wishes.
Yes, best wishes. I really love the 5 people who know the proper etiquette and the history behind that. Allegedly, you're supposed to say congratulations to the man because he's the one that asked and got, I guess, a positive response. So it's like, hey, man, congratulations. And you're supposed to say best wishes to the woman. Like, good luck. I don't know.
I would have never known that. So leave it to you to tell me that.
I only know that because I watch really old shows and old movies. I watched that. I caught that from Mad Men and probably Mona Lisa Smile.
And probably all them other black and white shows that used to come on after Nick at Night.
Yes, I love old shows.
Yeah.
Dick Van Dyke, Lucy, of those.
Since we've been together, I started enjoying the old shows way more than I thought I used to. Like, because I used to like them when I was a kid. I was like, oh, this is cool.
Petticoat Junction.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. I'm not a connoisseur like you are, but
I love old shows. That Girl.
Okay, That Girl.
You couldn't tell me I wasn't gonna be that girl.
Yeah, I just started watching That Girl recently with you, and I actually like that show. That and I used to watch Mary Tyler Moore as a kid, but I wasn't paying attention.
Marla Thomas and Mary Tyler Moore are a big part of why I'm such a strong, independent woman. I almost said black, but they're not black, but woman.
Yeah, that's fair. But yeah, I guess let's go ahead and get started.
Well, speaking of inspirational women, we wrapped up Black History Month, and now it is Women's History Month. And speaking of old shows in black and white, I just want to start off by recognizing Lucille Ball. I've always been a huge fan of I Love Lucy, and just looking at my skim, if you don't follow the skim, it's a pretty cool way to get, news in a tweetable way, if it's not BuzzFeed or something like that. But so they have a little blurb about Lucy, and I just love how they're saying she's the queen of TV. She helped create and define one of the most successful and influential shows in U.S. history. And even though the show wasn't considered revolutionary for its portrayal of women, because obviously they're in the kitchen cooking for their husbands, not working, things like that, her role, kind of set the stage for a future female comedians. And so if you look at anyone like, your Will and Grace or any of Reba, any of those shows, I guess not just redheads, but any shows where it's a strong female lead. And then also the physical comedy. I mean, just absolutely genius. Probably the only person better at physical comedy than Lucille Ball has got to be Dick Van Dyke. But yeah, just even the fact that she and Desi came up with the whole multiple camera angles, live TV, live studio audience, all of that. That's kind of the modern sitcom template for us now. And so just want to say, that's a woman in history that did something big that we're still I guess reaping the benefits of, and one of my faves. I love Lucy.
Cool. Well, on that same note, since we're talking about women in television, I have to shout out one of my all-time favorite actresses.
Who's that?
Miss Marla Gibbs.
Okay. Yes. 227.
227. I did not discover 227 until after college. So it was
really?
Literally 2000.
Okay.
It was literally 2012 when the very first time I saw 227. And my goodness, I fell in love with it.
See, I knew that was your favorite show, but I thought you watched it since you were a kid.
I had never heard of it prior to me getting out of college.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I absolutely love that show. It's one of my literally top 3 favorite shows of all time. Right up there with King of the Hill and Smart Guy. 227, King of the Hill, and Smart Guy are my top 3 favorite shows. Marla Gibbs, let's back to her. She is so very underrated in terms of acting, in terms of her career, in terms of all the roles she's had and played. This was kind of on the spot, so I didn't do a whole lot of research about her career and other things that she's probably pioneered. But shout out to her for blazing that trail. She was one of that show was one of the first black family sitcoms.
Yeah.
That was completely positive. and about an actual family who was, just going through life.
A regular
just
family,
a regular black family, like the dad was there, was working. The mother was in the house. They both had an active role in their daughter's life.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was just, a very, very good family oriented show. It was something about that show that just relaxed me. It was right after college, that stressful time right after college when you're trying to make sure the rest of your life is not going to be a waste of time. That show made me feel a lot better about my life. I don't know how, but it did. So yeah. Yeah, that covers that for me. Shout out to Miss Marla Gibbs and her recent roles. I recently saw her in the Carmichael Show.
Yes, I love that she's still acting.
She is still good. Acting and still good. It's not even like she's just like, oh yeah, she's Marla Gibbs. Let's put her in the show.
No,
just because. No, she is still funny.
Right.
And yeah, she's a legend.
She definitely is.
Yeah. She's been one of my favorite actresses ever since I've discovered 227 and then started seeing her in a whole bunch of other stuff too. So shout out to Miss Marla Gibbs.
Awesome. What else you got?
That's about all I got for right now. What else were we talking about?
Did you have anything about like news or any
current
events?
I was gonna let you go first with news / current events.
I'm gonna be honest, I couldn't find anything. The only thing I found was something about this March Mammal Madness. And I don't know anything about March Madness, but I just thought that was hilarious because I have a lot of friends who are like obsessed with their cats and a couple that love their dogs. And so I'm just sitting here imagining people really do a bracket for animals and which animal they think will win. And I just think that's hilarious.
I have so many questions.
Right?
How do the animals advance?
I don't know. I mean,
okay. Well,
each animal is assigned a probability of winning. Okay. So the judge basically rolls 100-sided die.
So it's a game of chance.
I mean, basically, but still, I think it's more just fun for people who are like, all into their furry friends.
Okay, cool.
It's one of those like random weird things. Like, can you imagine, like between an armadillo or a mouse, who you think will win?
No, the armadillo, you can't penetrate that joint.
Yeah.
And the mouse gonna run.
True.
But yeah.
But I'm not really into March Madness at all, or sports.
You're not.
Or animals.
I'm gonna say you don't like any of those things.
I just thought that was funny because I was like, wait, what?
So, current events. Let's talk about Diddy. Or Brother Love or whatever his name is now.
Wait, is he no longer Diddy?
Like
or
some
Diddy?
Months ago.
Or Puff Daddy?
Probably like about this time
Sean
last year,
Combs.
he was like, yeah, my name is Brother Love now or something like that. So
look, we gave him Puff Daddy to P Diddy, and then we gave him just Diddy.
Yeah. So Sean Combs, founder and CEO of Bad Boy Entertainment, that guy
hit the Diddy bop.
Him right there. But yeah. So unfortunately, we all learned of the passing of his children's mother, Kim Porter, sometime last year.
Sad.
Very tragic. She was quite young. What was it? Like pneumonia or something like that?
I think so.
Yeah. So unfortunate. Point is, he recently was on Instagram, or was it Twitter? I think it was Instagram. Posted a picture of her with a heartbreak emoji and SMH. Of course, somebody had to comment and was like, man, get out of here with that. You ain't marry her when you had the chance, you blah, blah, whatever. And
so crazy.
Right. First of all, let that man mourn.
However he wants to.
Right. And then
however he needs to.
Exactly. Because regardless of what you think their relationship should have been, that's still the mother of his children.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then second of all, Diddy's response, he basically agreed.
I love that.
His response was, "You right, I played myself." And yeah, so that's basically let that be a lesson. Do not take anyone for granted.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to go into detail about Diddy because I don't know his whole situation. But what I took from that is, don't be too busy chasing the J-Los of the world to appreciate what you already have.
What? This has nothing to do with J-Lo.
Okay. You wouldn't let me have an analogy, but whatever.
No.
Don't go out chasing the other woman.
I think this is more Cassie.
Well, I'm not. Time periods. When did Cassie come along? When did him and Cassie start dating?
I don't know the timeline. I'm
exactly.
Just kidding.
Okay. And how old are his children?
I don't know.
Nice try. Point is, okay, better thing. you don't know what you've got until it's gone. Is
That's
where
true.
I was going with that. But I'm pretty sure 99% of y'all figured that out without assuming I was trying to drag J-Lo into this. So yeah, like somebody across the table from me.
I'm just saying, I love J-Lo.
I do too. Ain't nobody got nothing against J-Lo. I'm just saying, don't go after J-Lo's when you're not treating your Kims right. Is all I'm saying. That's where I was going with that. Now, guys, you heard it here first. Tara disagreed with that statement.
I do not disagree with that
Yeah,
statement.
you did. Yeah, you came to J-Lo's defense.
I disagree with the wording of the statement, but absolutely, I think that the person, it was weird for them to comment on it when it's like, you never know what someone's relationship is like. And so, at the end of the day, they were together, even if it was off and on for a very long time, and they have children together. And so it's just one of those things where even if they were just friends, like, he could miss that person and still be sad that she's gone.
And to be honest, it was probably mutual, them not getting married. Just because she's a woman and he decided not to marry her, it doesn't mean that she was heartbroken about not being married to Diddy. Yeah, she could have very well been like, you know what? You play too much. Goodbye. Yeah. She probably told him goodbye first.
Yeah.
He knows he missed out on that opportunity, and it probably had nothing to do with her. She was just like, you know what? I am not about to sit here and wait for you. I'm going to go live my life.
Yeah.
He was probably playing around and she got tired of it. So how you just going to assume that, because he didn't marry her, she was all up in arms about it. Yeah. She was probably just fine. Absolutely. And they probably had like a healthy co-parenting relationship. Their kids seem to have all turned out fine from what we can tell. And it's just like, you never really heard about drama in their house. So let that be, you weren't there. I wasn't there. It's really not our place to comment. I really hate that society today puts so much emphasis on other people's business. But, whatever. It's the world we live in now.
Yeah. And I mean, he was just having a moment where he missed her. And I think that you got to allow people that. And a lot of times people forget that celebrities are real people.
They are human just like us. They
go through stuff just like we do. And so it's not necessary to comment on that. You could have just either swiped past it or hit like if you really liked it.
That's another thing I don't understand is like how you sit there and expend all of your energy on being negative towards someone else.
Right.
Like, I don't get it. Like, unless you were close to Kim Porter and Kim Porter said something to that effect to you, then it's not your place to comment. Let people live their lives. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm done with that.
So, last week we said we were going to explain kind of the story behind our Instagram handles and our aliases. So,
all right, which alias you want me to start with? Because I have like 12 aliases.
Why don't you start with the alii?
Is it alii or is it aliases?
I'm going to say alias.
Or aliases.
Aliases.
I have an alias for several different occasions. Let's just leave it at that because I don't want to say that wrong. I got to look that up.
Anyway, start with at the Ricey.
So, at the Ricey is my Instagram and Twitter and probably whatever else. Snapchat. Yeah. I still got a Snapchat. I don't use it, but whatever. So, the Ricey. Ricey is my name. Is my stage name, performance name, pen name, whatever. That is an abbreviation for my actual name. My first name is Ryan. My middle name starts with a C. So, put the 2 and 2 together there. Nothing too crazy, nothing too creative. Just an abbreviation of my actual name. The being in front of my Instagram handle is because when I made my Twitter back in 2009, before it was cool, some dude in England, whose name was probably like Ryan Christensen or something like that, basically took the name RY_C on Twitter before I got it, and then never, ever, ever tweeted. I think to this day, dude got like 7 tweets, and the last one was in 2013.
Wow.
So dude basically just took my name and wasted it. So by the time Instagram rolls around, I got to it quick enough, but I was like, now I don't want them to be different. So I had to put the in front of it. So yeah. And like Ricey is actually spelled RY-C. And obviously you can't put a dash on Twitter in a handle. So I used the underscore instead. So RY-C is how you spell my stage name. So I put the in front of it, and I've since been known as at the Ricey. It's so funny how to hear people try to pronounce it and then get it wrong. I don't even.
How do they mispronounce Ricey?
Well, they think that the and ry is one word.
Oh.
So they're like, how do you say the rye? What is the rye? Or theory? How do you? I'm like, no, it's the Ricey. As in manhole up, it's the Ricey. I done came down after 903. You know, I could drop a whole freestyle on that. But anyway, yeah. So that's that. That's my primary alias that everybody knows me by. So, when you heard me start the show as it's your man Ricey, that's how I talked on the radio. That's how I talk in my music. That's a lot of my friends still call me that, regardless if they've heard my music or not, because a lot of people up here in Northwest Arkansas, where we currently live, have not heard my music. They don't really know that I do music and stuff. So,
true.
And the ones that have been finding out lately are like, oh my gosh, I didn't know you did this too. What don't you do? The answer is algebra. I am not good at math.
I'm not good at math either. Our poor kids are going to need a tutor.
Yeah, they are. So if you good with math and you want to tutor our kids one day, we will take all the help we can get. We're going to need help ourselves trying to help them with their homework.
And the math that I thought I knew, now they've got this new math. And so now I don't even know if I'm going to be able to do 1 + 1.
I don't know what finite math even means. I don't know what survey of calculus is. Like, I get that there's calculus, but why do you need to survey it?
I never understood that either.
So I'm just gonna, stay away from those types of things, and I'm gonna continue to take pictures for a living.
There you go.
Yeah. But anyway, that's the story of Ricey. And that's been my alias ever since I was like 12, when I first started, trying to be a rapper and stuff. Back when I was a kid, I wanted to be a rapper professionally, like full time. Now I just do it because I enjoy music. So
yeah.
But I'm not trying to make a career out of it anymore. So if you find my music and you enjoy it and you listen to it, thank you. If not, whatever. Yeah. Doesn't really matter. So yeah, your turn.
So
start with T Candy.
T Candy?
Throwback.
Oh, that is throwback. That's like AOL.
No, that's like early Instagram.
Oh yeah.
When we first started dating, you were still T Candy.
No, it was T Candy.
Yeah,
it was T Candy. And then some numbers that I won't say.
Right.
But yeah. So okay. Man, I forgot about that. Took me back. So T Candy is also a derivative of my name. My first initial and then my middle name. And so that's just, I don't know. That started with my AOL. That was my AOL email address. And so, of course, when you're hitting up people on AIM.
Side note, who remembers AOL?
Right. My mama still got AOL.
You've got mail.
My mama is not letting AOL go. I mean, I think she has a Gmail now too, but she still has AOL. And I mean, has it as her, I'm pretty sure that's her primary. But anyway, yeah. Remember back when you used to get the AOL disc in the mail and you had to like download the internet?
That was
browser. Man. Like, yeah. So
you remember when you had to buy minutes for the internet?
I do, actually.
You had to like get the disc. So there would be one disc in the mail. You would just get. I'm like, Mom, we got the internet. She's like, it's not how it works. I was like, yeah, it is. Just put the disc in the computer. Yes. And we had a right operating system. Dial-up. We had a throwback MS-DOS that wasn't even Windows yet. And then the next one we got was, they didn't even have a disk drive. That's all that computer was. We literally played solitaire on it.
Love it.
And my mama made me practice typing on it.
Love it.
That was it. Then we finally, it was like 2000 before we got a quote, back then, modern computer.
Let me tell you, when that black Dell, sleek, I thought we was doing something with that black Dell unbox. Oh.
See, we didn't even get that far. By then, I had a laptop and I was finna go to college, so. But yeah.
So anyway, that was my AOL handle. And so then
kind of distracted you. Sorry.
Then freshman year of college, people were still on AIM, kind of, and so that's how in college people just started calling me T Candy. So yeah, that's kind of where that came from. But no one here really calls me that because no one really knows about that. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah,
that's fair.
What's another one of yours?
Another one of my aliases. Alia?
Mm-hmm. Another alias of yours.
Another alias of mine. Man, I got quite a few. I'm not going to tell y'all where Christoph Victorio came from. But it was loosely inspired by Christoph St. John. R.I.P.
R.I.P., man. Man, I used to love him on Young and the Restless.
I didn't really watch soap operas, but it's gonna sound super corny. But when I was a kid, I just saw this. My grandmother used to watch the soap operas all the time. So I remember seeing a commercial one day about, was it Young and the Restless? You said, yeah. And it was just a commercial where I see this
debonair black man,
debonair suave black dude on a commercial with a bunch of white people for a soap opera, and he was like Christophe St. John. I was like, man, that dude looks dope, man. That guy looks dope.
Yes.
It's like I never thought like bougie people could be cool. And I was just like, man, I like the name Christophe. And like my middle name is actually Christopher, so that's partially where that came from. But anyway, yeah.
Okay, if you're gonna tell yours, I guess I'll tell mine. Mine is Candace, which I'm sure you could have guessed
Most
that from Tea
that.
Candy.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that wasn't a secret, but
it's not.
Yeah. Yeah. So Christophe St. John kind of inspired the Christophe Victorio alias. So basically, when I don't want to put my real name on stuff, I use Christophe Victorio. Or you can pretty much call me Christophe Victorio anytime I'm in a suit.
Cause you fancy.
Cause I'm fancy.
Fancy.
I'm fancy. But yeah, that's pretty much that one. What's another one? Can you think of another one?
Yes, but I'm gonna do another one of mine first.
Cool, go for it.
Okay, so my current Instagram name is tcar_examiner, and people are always like, "Oh, tcar examiner, what's that?" Well, I used to. So, I write relationship advice articles for this site called Afropolitan Mom. And I used to write relationship advice articles for this company called Examiner.com. And with that, of course, it was just like, okay, branding my articles with that. Okay. So people in college used to call me T-Car. And so I just was like, okay, T-Car Examiner, like easy. And so then that's why the last few episodes I've been asking y'all to email me or hit me up on Instagram if you think I should change my handle, because some people said I should.
I've only been suggesting that for like 2 years now.
Yes, but I don't like change because then I have to explain to everyone else. We have a friend who changes his Instagram handle like every day, I promise.
I literally, it took me there was a couple times where I was like, who the heck is
Who
this?
Who is this?
You follow this person? Oh, that's Jamel.
Yeah, so it's like, okay.
To hit me up, she was like, wait, who is this name? I was like, I have no idea. And he was like, in what? Oh. But that's Jamel.
Yeah. So I don't want people to not know who I am, because I've had this one now for several years. So I look at it on the broader scope. Like, I still examine life. I examine relationships. I examine this. I examine that. You know, I'm just an examiner now. Like, that's what I do. So I'm looking at it more in the global sense. That's how I'm going to take it. Now, granted, yeah, I probably will change it at some point. But I'm kind of being lazy, even though it's not that hard.
Yeah, it's not, 'cause especially when I gave you suggestions. I need a list of suggestions.
Yeah. So if you want me to change it, you guys are going to have to send me an email or comment on my Instagram. But yeah, that's kind of where T-Car Examiner came from.
What's another one of mine? You pick one more for me and I'll explain it.
Band Geek.
Okay, yeah. So Band Geek is actually Raci's last name. Like, it's Raci the Band Geek. Simply because, all right, so that's a whole story. Let me tell that story real quick. So again, back when I was younger, I wanted to be a rapper, among several other things. So I used to get in these little freestyle battles in high school and whatnot, right? So I think we were at lunch at Texas High one day or something like that. So somebody was beating on the table. Classic, that's how it starts. And dude was like I kind of walked over there, and then dude just decided to, I don't know, I guess use me as a target. Mm-hmm. So he was like, some, man, you just a band geek. And everyone's like, oh, no. Right? So I got to jump back in, right?
Yep.
I got to at this point.
Got to.
And I don't remember exactly what I said, but man, what did I say? It was so long ago.
I was going to say that. It wasn't.
I'm never going to remember what I said, but point is, I basically just flipped the whole band geek line around him. So obviously I was in a band at high school and in college and in middle school, but went to Prairie View on a band scholarship. So yeah, the name band geek ended up kind of sticking with me after that because I basically, took what was intended to be an insult and flipped it around and was
That's
like,
what you do.
I'm like, so I said something like, yeah, you just got bodied by the band geek or something like that. But I was like, oh, he just flipped it. He flipped it. That's where I see the band geek. That's where I see the band geek. So henceforth was where I see the band geek. Yeah. So that's pretty much where band geek came from. Back in the day when I first started doing photography. So I eventually named my music production company Band Geek Productions. When I started doing photography, that was Band Geek Photos. Some of y'all might still, like, if you look on my Facebook, you'll see
photos,
that.
Yeah.
You'll see those old photos with the music symbols as my, my logo or whatever. Real band geeks will get that. But, yeah. So that's, that was like again, music is just a huge part of my life, regardless, whether it's me singing in church or me trying to be a rapper and all of that kind of stuff. So, yeah. So that's pretty much the story of Band Geek.
Can you think of another one for me?
I don't think you have any more.
I don't think so.
I don't think you have any more. Nah, other than T Candy and T Car Examiner. I think those are your only two.
Yeah.
Other than Stella, but
yeah, that's an insider.
That's insider, yeah. y'all. That requires a certain level of clearance that you'll never get. So
indeed. So yeah, that's kind of why we have our handles as they are and our aliasi and our aliases as they are.
Oh, should I explain Versatile Optics?
Oh, yeah.
Since this is Versatile Optics Studio, this podcast is a Versatile Optics media production.
Indeed.
So Versatile Optics. Again, back when I was in college doing, first starting out in photography, one of my mentors was basically, he was taking me out as a second shooter one day. We were going out to go shoot this event in Houston. So we were just riding around Houston and we were just kind of talking. He was like, so what are your goals for photography? What are you trying to accomplish? What are you trying to do? What do you want to do long term? Asking me those hard questions that I hadn't thought of yet.
Right.
I was just trying to get better and, kind of show off a little bit. But so he was like, so explain the name Band Geek Photos to me. And I was like, it's basically because blah, 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 such like what I just said.
Yeah.
But, and he was like, so I want you to think about that name. And when you're dealing with clients, when you're getting these higher level gigs,
oh, wow.
I want you to think about your brand.
Uh-oh.
And I was like, I know exactly where you're going with this. And you're absolutely right. Yeah. I don't want to be like a 28-year-old photographer trying to get, corporate gigs. I'm like, yes, my company is Band Geek Photos.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. It's going to sound a little corny, frankly. But eventually, so like 2 years after I started doing photography, I finally took a photojournalism class in college. So by then I'd already had like 2 years worth of experience. I had like 4 or 5 different people who I was kind of studying and following their work and trying to, learn from them and all of that kind of stuff. So I get in this class and really it was like a refresher course in the basics for me. But the first assignment was to build a photography business. I was like, okay, that's easy. I'm done. Literally opened my web page. It wasn't like a full-blown web. So I think it was like early Wix. It was still .wix.com. This is before I could afford a domain because I was still in college, Sure. But so I thought back to what my mentor at the time, this was Nanaji Media. I think that's still his company's name. Check out Nanaji. He's in Houston. But so I thought back to what Nanaji said, and I was like, you know what? This would be a perfect time to change my name and just completely rebrand while I have a whole class to kind of force me to do it. So I did it then, and I was just like, what should it be though? Again, I've kind of alluded to the fact that I do a lot of different things, and my last name starts with the letters VERS. And I was like, you know what? Versatility has always been part of my brand. I should just create a whole nother company name rather than trying to make Band Geek Photos sound more sophisticated. I'm just gonna go with Versatile Optics. Basically, optics relates to what you see. At that point, I was already kind of picking up graphic design. I still had a whole bunch of skills in music that I was using here and there. Again, photography, graphic design. I was in video production courses, and I still do quite a bit of video production. I basically have a very wide skill set. So I took the word versatile and just kind of made it my brand. So,
my brand.
But yeah, that's another insider. Some of you might get it, and if you get it, send us a tweet or a text or something, like a DM or something. Tell us you got that, because that's still funny. But yeah, so Versatile Optics is my multifaceted media production creative media agency. Is what I call creative media agency. Is what I'm basically going with at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's that. If you see the logo, the VERS is in a different color than the rest of the letters, because that's part of my last name. So again, versatility, the word versatile is not just some word that I heard somebody use and it sounded cool. It is a lifestyle for me.
Absolutely.
It's the way I live. That explains the aliases you need to know about. Because I have like 30 more.
Mercy.
Yeah.
Of course you do.
Yeah. But so I guess that pretty much covers that. I really can't think of any more that you have. I don't think you have any more. And if so, you keeping secrets.
Yes, I'm very secretive.
No, I'm secretive.
I've learned allegedly you are secretive, since you
didn't
plan
know
this whole
nothing
engagement.
about this whole elaborate engagement proposal that you had. There were so many signs
Lies
that
and
I let a
deceit.
few things slip, like the wine in the refrigerator. You like saw, I was like, why is he so much wine? And I was like, man, she gonna see that wine. I didn't even think about that. Really, I was like, she's probably not gonna notice it, but even if she does, yeah. Anyway, point is, I got skills in keeping things quiet too.
That's good. Romantic secrets are fine.
Yeah. It's a power, and I only use it for good. I promise.
There you go. So we are about to do the Daniel's fast, y'all. And well, let me take that back. I'm about to do the Daniel's fast. What you about to do?
I'm just gonna go on a detox cleanse that consists of just juice. I'm literally going to be juicing and consuming 100% liquid over the next 21 days.
So we did this, 2 years ago or 3 years ago?
2 years ago, 2017.
Okay, we did this 2 years ago. Our church was doing a corporate 21-day fast. And so Ryan was at home sleep the day that...
Yeah, I missed church that day. And yes, I was like...
You had a photo shoot the night before, and it was like one of those really late ones. And so... you missed church that day. So I went to church and learned all about what we were doing for the Daniel's fast. I come home, I tell you, hey, the church is doing this fast. Do you want to do it? And you said...
You told me there was several different levels to
I said,
choose from.
Yeah, he gave us 3 or 4 different levels that you could choose from. Which one you want to do?
Me being a show off that I am, I was like, give me the hardest one.
And so, of course, I'm like, well, the hardest one is all liquid. I
was like, you know what? I just bought a juicer. I can do this.
So the 4 levels, you could do liquid only.
It was like 100% juice. Like you have to make the juice or purchase like 100% all natural,
water,
no artificial, nothing. Basically, it was like it could not consist of any added sugars, nothing carbonated, nothing artificial, nothing. It was just fruit, natural, vegetable, that kind of stuff. Straight juice. And then, not even tea.
Right. And then the second level was you could do all liquid until
6
dinner.
PM.
Yeah, 6 p.m. And then you have a sensible dinner. Then the third option, which was the one I went with, was you could do the Daniel's fast, which if you've never heard of the Daniel's fast, you should definitely look it up. It's biblically based, obviously, off the book of Daniel. And it's mostly fruits and vegetables. I think you can have like legumes and,
things
whole
that grow
wheat
in
grains,
nature,
things like that. Yeah, it's basically very, natural. And then water, no alcohol, no coffee, no tea, no soda. And so I did that one. And then the fourth option, I did that as well, which was cutting out social media, TV, and all things of that sort. So I was basically sitting up, rocking, reading books, doing crossword puzzles. I mean, a life without Netflix for me. If you know me, you know I love Netflix. And so that was a challenge for me. And so, but we survived it, and I felt really well. The reason why I've decided to go with the Daniel's fast again this time is because I think the reason I did so well with that is because it wasn't a diet. It was about getting closer to God, and instead of focusing on food, shifting your focus to your relationship with God. And so that is something I'm always striving to get better at. It's just one of those things where I always want to pray more and read the Bible more, to do daily devotions consistently, have that as like a central part of my life. It's one of those things where when I was younger, I was like, I probably read the Bible more consistently when I was younger. I was a weird kid. Watching Seventh Heaven and then reading the Bible.
You're still a weird kid.
Seriously, my mom would like knock on the door and be like, "Why are you still up?" And then see me reading the Bible and then be like, "Okay, like go to bed soon though." Like
it's like you can't get yelled at for reading the Bible.
Right?
I tried that once and it didn't work for me. I still got yelled at. I'm still walked in to turn the lights off.
So, but yeah, now that I am an adult, like a whole adult, it's like, okay, you know, that was cute as a kid and that was amazing as a kid, but now it's time to be to grow spiritually and become more I guess in depth with my relationship with God. And so that's why I think I stuck to that 21 days, because if it's just a diet, I'm good in the morning and by lunchtime I'm ready to order Chinese. Like I'm over it if it's a diet. I don't have that level of discipline that a lot of people have. I am like, life's too short. I love food. I am a foodie. But when you're talking about, okay, shift your focus from food and get back to just the core basics, fruit, vegetables, water, like that just really, it really shifts your focus in a lot of areas of your life. So I'm excited to get back to it. And here's the irony. This is what I love. You know, we've been talking about doing this for a very long time. We're like, okay, in March, we're going to do Daniel's fast, right? Not knowing that Ryan was going to propose. Well, I didn't know. He knew. And so now it's like, okay, I need to get fit for this wedding. Let me, lose a couple lbs for these engagement photos and all this fun stuff that are on the horizon. And so it's like, okay, all right, good thing we already had Daniel's fast lined up. Also, additional confirmation that we should do this. Literally today, our pastor sent out this email about Lent, which to me, I've always thought of Lent as more of a Catholic thing because a lot of my Catholic friends talk about what they're giving up for Lent.
Yeah, and I was generally unfamiliar with what Lent is until like basically when we did this in 2017, and everybody was like, "Oh, you must be observing Lent." And I was like,
yeah.
"No, it's a thing in our church."
I didn't realize our church was doing it for Lent. Yeah,
I didn't realize.
I was just like, "Oh no, this is not Lent." Oh, it is. Oh, okay. So yeah, I really didn't even realize the Christian viewpoint on Lent because I've always heard my Catholic friends be like, "Oh, I'm giving up cookies for Lent or whatever," and so. I loved that, our pastor sent that email basically saying the true meaning behind Lent and the history behind it and what it's supposed to represent. And our church isn't doing the same corporate fast that we did a couple years ago, but he was just kind of encouraging everyone to sacrifice something and observe it in some way. And so it starts tomorrow on the 6th and runs through April 20th.
Which technically, by the time you hear this, it'll be today.
Right. It starts today / tomorrow. Yeah. But with that being said, it's just, one of those things where you just have to think about a sacrifice. And that's something that, we can get gluttonous and just eat whatever and then look up and be like, oh, why does my stomach hurt?
Why do I have diabetes all of a sudden?
Right.
Like why are my ankles swollen? Like why do I have gout now? What is this about?
Right.
Where did this come from?
Why are my joints achy? There's just so many things that you could prevent by what you put in your body. And as Ryan has mentioned, in the past episodes, health and wellness is so important to both of us. And that's just, this is our moment to kind of shift that focus back to that. It's kind of like hit and reset. That's really what a detox is.
Right. That's ultimately the point, is to basically rid your body of like all of the toxins and negative effects of the foods and things that we consume. Because in this era today, a lot of the food that we consume was created out of the need for it to be quick and easy.
Yeah.
Rather than it being extremely healthy. So a lot of the food that we eat is mass produced. So a lot of the, benefits are either washed out or they're simply are none, because, at this point where they're just trying to make sure everybody has enough food to eat. So with that said, a detox is dramatically important, because even when you think you're eating only healthy food, things that are like pre-packaged and a lot of things have more processing than we know about.
Yeah.
So it's just really good to, kind of make sure you stop and, just kind of give your body that reset. The effects are astonishing. You'll feel amazing. Like, if absolutely nothing else, you're going to feel so much better. Like, of course, it's going to take a minute to adjust. So once you just like kind of, change, like sort of change your diet this dramatically, you're going to be hungry. Your stomach's going to hurt. You're going to have a headache from being hungry, when in reality, you're not actually hungry. It's just your body is adjusting to, letting go of those toxins.
Yeah. And
again, this is not an attempt at us being a health show. That's not what this is. But, it won't hurt you to be, to take the time and kind of reset your body, just to, give your body the reset that it needs so that it can take care of you.
Right.
So that you can take care of your body, because you only get one body. There's parts you can replace, but you literally only get one body. So take care of it now, because it gets harder to fix it and then take care of it in the future. So
yes, that is so true. And like, I mean, I remember just being like, 15, 16, and being able to literally eat garbage, trash. I could eat anything. I could out eat dudes. Like, I could just eat whatever and it would not show up at all. Like, I was like really skinny and didn't even know it. Like,
I wasn't the biggest of kids, but I wasn't like super skinny or nothing. You couldn't see my ribs, but I also wasn't, I wasn't chubby or nothing.
Right,
really
you was pretty
chubby.
trim.
Yeah. My folks would just be like, when I go visit family members and I would go make my plate, like at a family reunion or something like that. They're like, who told you to put all on your plate? You better finish all of them. I'm like, oh, this is round 1. Of course I'm going to finish all of this. I'm going to finish round 4. Like, so they're like, you better eat all of it too. I'm like, okay. I remember one time I was a kid, my dad, I think I was like maybe 12 or 13. We go to Wendy's, right? And I ordered that Dave's triple and added bacon to it, because I'm like, you know what? I'm spending the summer with my dad. He better,
make him pay for it.
I'm gonna get away with some stuff my mama wouldn't pay for.
Right.
So let me get that number 3 with the bacon, no onions. He's like, you finna eat a triple? I was like, yeah. What you talking about? Of course. He's like, you better eat all of it too. That was my favorite thing to hear. It was like, you better eat all of it. I'm like, challenge accepted.
Challenge.
Let's get it. So my uncle was with us. I made like $20. He was like, you finish the whole thing, I give you $20 and the fries. I was like, okay, sure. And I used part of that $20 to order a Frosty, because I was like, yeah, that was great. Thanks for the free Frosty too. But yeah, man, I used to be able to eat like people thought I had a tapeworm. I was just like,
wow.
I was like, yeah, it's food. I enjoy food. It's not a problem for me to eat all of this. But yeah, of course, the older you get, you can't really do that anymore. You get older, your body slows down, your metabolism slows down, and you start to feel those effects.
Yeah, you do.
I used to like eat bags of Cheetos all through class and then go to lunch and eat a whole bunch of pizza, the nachos, the 10 chicken rings with cheese.
Ooh, them chicken rings with cheese. That's when you balling.
Right. That was like, you had to save
My
up for
mom
that.
would be like, what happened to all your lunch money? Oh,
I'm like, I ate lunch. Like, what were you eating? I'm like, I had the 10 chicken rings with the cheese and
the fries with cheese.
And the fries with cheese.
And a slushie.
And a Fruitopia.
Ooh, that Fruitopia.
Now I'm just telling our age.
Yeah,
I don't know what happened to Fruitopia. Let's look up Fruitopia. But yeah, so let me go into detail. I'm sure some of y'all are wondering about how I managed that juice fast.
Oh, yes. That's what I was going to ask you is, how did you do the juice fast in the past, and how difficult was that? Because a lot of people, when I tell them you just juice, and they're like, what?
Yeah. So first of all, there's 2 definitions of juicing. One is like steroids and other crap. That's not what this is.
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, I did too, until I was like, oh yeah, I'm just juicing right now. Like, juicing? That's bad for you. You're gonna blah, blah. I'm like, no, it's not the same thing.
Wow.
It's quite the opposite. But yeah, juicing is when you use a juicer to literally obliterate fruits and vegetables. You're basically extracting the juice from them, and the rest of it becomes like a dry pulp. And it happens in the process of, the machine working. And basically, you shove the fruit and the vegetables into the machine. It squeezes out a little bit of juice. And then you basically drink that juice.
And you get the purest form of the nutrients.
The purest form of the nutrients. So, again, she comes home from church and was like, yeah, we're doing this fast. I'm like, give me the hardest one. She was like, it's just juice. I was like, ooh. you know what? I just bought a juice. Let me put that juicer to use.
Right.
So I was like, yeah, I can do this. Me being a show off that I am. I'm always a show off when it comes to food, whether it's eating a whole lot or not eating at all.
That's true.
Yeah. So anyway, I was like, okay, I can do 21 days. I can do this. Day 1, I was like, okay, cool. I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. Getting a little headache, but I can do this. You get those hunger headaches when you don't eat for a while. Day 2, oh my God, my head is hurting. Stomach kind of hurting a little bit too. Can't focus. I'm so hungry. I'm just, literally just drinking juice all day and water and like coconut water and stuff like that. Day 3, you know what? My head doesn't really hurt as bad today. Maybe I'm just used to it now, but I'm not as hungry as I was. Still drinking a whole bunch of juice. Day 4, I was like, man, why ain't nobody tell me about this sooner? I don't need food. Food is pointless. Day 5, day 6, day 7, I was like, yeah, that's funny. Y'all eating? I don't do that. Nah, I just drink stuff. Funny. Yeah, that's so old school. Y'all eating food and stuff. That's cute. Y'all enjoy y'all's food. I'm finna enjoy this tasty beverage. And after a while, I just started feeling so much better. Like the hunger headache was gone. Like there was I used to have like random pains throughout my, like just just sometimes your back be hurting, your neck be hurting and stuff like that. Nothing too serious, nothing to go to the doctor about, but all of that stuff went away. I was able to think clearly. Like, it was just so many different benefits that I would have never guessed came along with, that type of detox, So I did not make the entire 21 days on juice. I got to like day 12 and started feeling I was getting sick. I was like, you know what? I don't want to risk it. Yeah. Because I have heard of people doing this wrong and it going very badly. So let me just go ahead and eat some vegetables real quick.
Right. And see, I think that's the key. You didn't just say, let me go get a Whopper with cheese.
Right. You don't like, okay, I think I need to eat something. You don't just go grab a bag of chips. You eat what you were juicing at first. Right. So you're basically consuming the same thing. So I chopped up some, some zucchini and steamed it and I ate that. And then that was it, so I went back to juicing the next day. So I did a total of like 14 days on just juice, like 12 consecutive, 14 total. And even from there, I started eating really, really lightly. So there would be days where I ate like 3 avocados for lunch and then a banana for dinner and an apple. Right. And the rest of it was just drinking a whole lot of water and a whole lot of juice. So at that point, I was just like, you know what? This was supposed to be 21 days. Let me see how long I can go with this. And ended up being vegan for a whole year. Yeah. So, yeah. Which is
so funny. We probably need to do a different episode about the year you were vegan. But the most hilarious thing about that time period is people were like asking me, how are you still with him? Are you okay? And I'm like, I'm fine. Like, what does what he eats or not or doesn't eat have to do with our relationship? People were like worried about our relationship because you were vegan. Like, I couldn't be with nobody vegan. I'm like, it was so funny. It was annoying. Because like when we ate together, I would eat vegan, and when we didn't, I would just make myself something different or eat something different. Like it's not that serious.
It was just annoying because people was like, you don't eat no meat. I was like, no, I'm not eating any meat right now. Like, not even chicken. I'm like, that's meat. No. Like, you don't eat no fish.
Our culture, the American culture, is just brainwashed. I mean, I seriously am having to I feel like unbrainwash myself because I grew up on you got to have a meat with every meal. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Such westernized standards.
Indeed. And so, yeah. But back to the Daniel's fast. If anyone is interested in joining us for that, a good devotional that I like is it's called Made to Crave. And that's kind of back to what I was talking about instead of focusing on food, focusing on God. Because let me tell you, I had days where I had headaches. Now, I wasn't doing it as extreme as you, but I still was missing coffee. I think honestly the majority of my headaches was from not having caffeine, because I usually have at least 1 cup of coffee every day, and by 1 cup I mean at least 12 ounces, and some days it's 2 or 3 cups. Like on days where I have a lot to do at work, or if I have class after work, then it's like, oh yeah, I'm going to get more coffee. So not having coffee, not having any of the sugar and processed refined bread, stuff like that. But I think the majority of it was probably the coffee. So yeah, I had to to check myself and be like, okay, girl, you're fine.
Yeah,
you're all right. Drink some water.
Caffeine.
What'd you say?
So your body got to adjust from that lack of caffeine.
Exactly. And then, but I felt amazing too. It was just like, I just had so many like friends come up to me like, wow, you look great. Your skin's glowing. Like,
somebody said I looked like 6 years younger. And I was like, wow, okay. It was definitely a valid reason to have undertaken, taking this on.
Yeah.
And I did lose a whole bunch of weight too, obviously.
You did. I did too.
I went down like 30 something pounds over a month.
It's crazy.
Yeah. There's a before and after picture of me on Instagram. If you feel
like and I didn't realize how much weight you lost until I saw that picture.
Me either, because I didn't realize how big I was. I didn't realize how big I had gotten. Like there was a picture of us a picture of me at somebody's house. At a friend's little kickback or something like that, right? And I'm sitting there looking like, man, I look pregnant in this picture. Mm-hmm. And I honestly hate, saying that, like using pregnant as a way to describe one's gut, but that's seriously the only way to describe it. I look like I was carrying, But yeah, and then I put that on a side by side of a picture I had recently taken. And I was like, wow, look at the difference. And I really did look younger. Yeah. Like, I posted it on Facebook. One of my friends, who's a model, a professional model, she commented and was like, you went from looking like somebody daddy to somebody zaddy. And I was like, hey, what I'm talking about?
Watch out now.
So, yeah, it was like I legit felt better. I felt lighter. It was easier to exercise because I wasn't carrying around a whole bunch of extra weight. I don't really get sick much, but even then I felt like my immune system was even stronger than it is. My immune system is a beast. I really don't get sick. Man, but even then I was like, I felt like my immune system was that much stronger. So yeah.
Yeah, so if you want to join us, you can join us for one day or all 21 or somewhere in between, but definitely just hit us up on Instagram and let us know how it's going, or share any recipes that you have. I'm going to try to post some of mine for those of you who are thinking about doing Daniel's fast, and we might share some juice recipes as well. If you do have a juicer, you could do that. But let's go ahead and hop into the listener letters.
Yeah, because it's wow, we've been talking for quite some time now.
Indeed.
Yeah, all these episodes are going to continue to get longer and longer. So, just kind of until we can find like a spot where we can, cut it down and guarantee you a certain length.
Here's the thing. I don't want them to be super long, but also I know it's a podcast, so you can pause it and pick it up later if you got somewhere to be. So
right. So yeah, it's technology's come so far. It's not like you got to rewind the tape or nothing. So
exactly. Yeah, or get out your car and you missed it.
Right.
Yeah.
You're not gonna miss it. It's not going anywhere.
All right, listener letter. So reminder, please email us. Send us your thoughts. Send us thoughts on the show or whatever issues you have going on. If you have questions that you want to ask us just about us, or if you want our advice on relationship stuff or work stuff, family stuff, whatever the case may be, we definitely want to hear from you. All you got to do is email askTTRL@gmail.com. That's ASKTTRL@gmail.com.
Perfect. For now, you can even shoot us a DM. At some point, we're only going to take them through email, but yeah, shoot us a DM. So what's the first question?
So the first question is, what is one thing about your significant other that irks your nerves? I'm assuming your eyes got big because the list is so long.
It is a very long list of things that you do that drive me up several walls.
I love that because I think people need to know that just because you're in a relationship, you love that person, doesn't mean that you think they're perfect. It doesn't mean that they don't annoy you sometimes. That's just life.
Right. Where do I start?
I'll start. How about that?
Yeah, you go for it.
Okay, so one of the things that about you that really just is so annoying is you freaking never meet a stranger. Like, I am the type to, like I said, I'm a very private person. And I'm the type to like not speak to my neighbors ever, not know them. not care. Like, I'm going to my house and, I just would never know my neighbors. Meanwhile, every neighbor we've ever had, you've been like, oh, first name basis with them. Oh, that's Tom. That's Peggy. Oh, that's Sue. What? And I'm like, why are you outside talking to the neighbors? Get in the house. Like, are you serious right now? Now, I will say that has come in handy a few times where we needed to check with our neighbors on stuff. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, check on so-and-so and see what they thought about blah, blah, blah. And so, but I am just like, get in the house. Like, and then we'll be out like at an event or a party or somewhere, and you just chatting it up with everybody. And I am like ready to go. I know people who know me probably are surprised because I'm what they call an extroverted introvert or introverted extrovert.
No, you're the extroverted introvert. I'm the introverted extrovert.
Okay, whatever. I get confused on that. But the point is, I can be social. I'm a very sociable person. I love people, but I also like to have my solitude and be back home and in my own head. And so you're very much a chatty person. Sometimes it's adorable and sometimes it's annoying.
In my defense, some of our neighbors are really cool. Like next door to where we live now, this older white lady, super cool. I don't remember how we sparked up a conversation. I'm sure it was about cars because she got like 30 different cars.
She does.
And then she got like a whole nother house where she actually lives and then just comes to over here. And almost every time she shows up, she's in a different car. She got like seriously like literally 7 cars that I've counted so far. And this one particular Lexus she had was real nice. I was like, oh man, I always wanted one of those. And she was like, yeah, I'm blah, blah, blah. So we just started talking about cars and such. And, I had my Chevy coupe, and we were just talking about that, and then we started talking about how the police would always be over here waiting to give people tickets, and I was like, oh yeah, they got my lady like that one time, and next thing you know, we on a first name basis, but yeah, I'm glad that we kind of had built that relationship because when she started doing some stuff for us, we started doing some stuff for her, it's a nice little connection made there. I can definitely say that can be annoying, however, because some of our neighbors were not so great. But like the guy that lived next door to us with the dog, and the dog wouldn't shut up.
That dog sounded like it was gonna come out the window and bite like your whole head off.
Like, I just stood there looking like, you're not gonna break through the glass and bite me. Sit down.
Yeah. Sit
down. You can't do anything about it.
Even our friends with dogs were like, yeah, that dog is doing the most.
Right. But anyway, so what annoys me about you? Why you look nervous right now?
Because that could be anything.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to go with the most obvious. You drive poorly. You drive extremely slow. You often drive below the speed limit. In multiple lane roadways, you'll sit behind the slowest person and be under the speed limit, which is dangerous because we're about to get hit by somebody else from behind because you're going so super slow. I'm like, babe, why don't you get over and go around this person? And you're just sitting there cruising like 10 miles below the speed limit behind them, and we got somewhere to be. I'm just like, why? There's a whole nother lane that you can use. Nobody's coming. Get in this other lane, go around this person and do the speed limit, please. I'm not asking you to drive the way that I do, because I've seen Fast and Furious, all of them, way too many times, and you can tell it reflects in my driving. But I'm not asking you to do it. I just want you to drive like a normal person and not somebody's grandma.
But you know why I drive that so slow, right?
No, why?
Because when I was in college and in my early 20s after college, I got a lot of speeding tickets. So now I drive like somebody's grandma.
Okay, speeding tickets don't mean slow down. They mean be more careful.
I know. I'm just saying that's why.
Anyway, I have had my share of speeding tickets as well. But I think I actually have less speeding tickets than you. That's hilarious.
I know you do.
That's so funny. But yeah, it's a matter of being more attentive on the road, which you also fail to do. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say you're always welcome to drive, so that my driving doesn't annoy you.
I am going to drive. I usually am, unless I'm tired. Like when I'm driving, I'm aware of what's in front of me. I know what's beside me. I can see cops from half a mile away.
Yeah.
I know when it's dark, I can know exactly what everybody's headlights are shaped like. So I can tell if it's a Charger or an Impala behind me. I can tell if it's a truck. I can tell you what kind of truck it is. I can tell you what year it is. I'm not even asking you to know all of that kind of stuff, but just be more attentive. Like, realize that you have a wide open lane over here. Especially if you're going to go slow, don't do it in the left lane. Sweetheart, please.
Aww.
Get out of the left lane if you're going to go slow. Let the people who want to do the speed limit and faster have that left lane so that they can do that, rather than having them ride your bumper because you're in their way. And it's like, because when I'm driving, when I'm the guy that's like trying to get around you, when I'm the guy trying to get around that person, I'll be thinking like, man, this is how Tara drives. I really need to be more considerate, because let's say you're in a rental car. I might be sitting there yelling at you from my car. I might pull up beside you and start yelling at you. I'm like, oh wait, that's my fiance. Let me chill out a little bit. But anyway, yeah, you drive like somebody's great grandma.
I do. And that question was from Paul. Thanks, Paul.
Thank you, Paul, for
the question.
shooting us the question.
Yes.
Thank you for listening. Shout out to Paul.
Next question is from Pam. How do you keep the passion alive?
Well, Pam, thank you for your question. This is going to be hard to answer because, well, it's easy to answer. It's going to be hard to relate it to anybody else. My girl fine, so I don't really have that problem.
Aww. That's the end of your answer?
That's basically it. No, seriously. Yeah. So I would say on a regular basis, frankly, daily, you have to make sure that you take the time to remember why you worked so hard to be in a relationship with that person. Remember why you fell in love with them in the first place, and remember that they don't have to be there, you know?
That's right.
Make sure you take the time to appreciate that person and just, stop and remember what's really important. Take the time to love that person. That person will continue to love you. Take the time to love yourself, even if that person doesn't. And like the passion will kind of restart itself, You just have to make sure that you appreciate that person. Just don't forget to do the little things. The little things make a huge difference. And just never take any of that for granted, because it can all be snatched away from you in a matter of a second. So just kind of like that Alicia Keys song where she was like, every time you kiss me like you never see me again.
I was like,
I couldn't think of the direct lyrics. I didn't want to sing the whole quote for the whole song. But yes. Yeah, that.
I would say a date night, and when I say date night, I don't mean like, oh, a date night. I mean like just any time that you spend quality time together. It doesn't have to be super expensive or super fancy, or it doesn't even have to require a whole lot of planning or any planning at all. Anytime where we're sitting at a restaurant and looking at each other in each other's eyes like, hey, I still like you. Or anytime we're just kicking it, watching a movie, or anytime we just get to just joking. Like, honestly, I think the way we keep the passion is just by being silly, like having fun with each other. That's the kind of stuff that reminds you of what you first fell in love with. And that's basically kind of that keeping the passion alive, rekindling. That's what that is thinking about the butterfly in the stomach type days. And when your face lit up when you saw his name on the phone, like those days, like, oh, wow. That is what keeps the passion alive when you're not just like stuck in the monotony of that everyday life. And so, when you're in a long-term relationship or when you live together, or I imagine when you're married, it can get pretty monotonous. And that's why people are afraid of commitment, because they don't want it to get boring. But monogamy doesn't have to equal monotony. Monotony doesn't have to equal boring. But even if you have periods of monotony, you can still, have fun, keep the passion alive, spice things up, just by doing something different, interesting, like try something new together. Let me tell you, one of the most fun days that we have had recently was when my niece was visiting us and we went to the trampoline park.
Man,
and
that was so much fun.
I am very like, rigid on stuff like that, but I had so much fun. Like that was probably the most fun I've had in a long time.
I'm a big old kid, so
Yeah, you was doing
I was in heaven.
backflips. Yeah,
I was sort of trying to replicate the slam dunk contest because they had a basketball goal in there where you could like with a trampoline. I was doing the slam ball stuff, trying to do them all of those crazy dunks. I couldn't do half of them, but I was still having the time of my life, laughing at me falling and whatnot.
Yeah, she was ready to go before we were. I mean, like...
And she's 13.
Yeah.
She was 13 when we went there.
Yeah.
I was not ready to go. I was not trying to leave.
Yeah, that was fun. You know what I mean? Just like anything you can do different or new or interesting that kind of takes you back, that type of stuff is really what keeps the passion alive, just having fun together. So... I know that was kind of advice, love life advice, but we always want to wrap it up with a little quick tip or love life advice for the week. What you got?
So, along those same lines, try something new. Like you said, it does not have to be expensive or extremely extravagant. Just simple. If, say for example, if you're a guy and your lady goes to the farmer's market a lot, surprise her. Get up and go to the farmer's market with her one Saturday. You might surprise yourself. You might enjoy it. And she'll be like, oh, my boyfriend's with me. I'm enjoying the farmer's market. And again, we like to be inclusive. So if you're whatever gender or identity you have and you want to go to the farmer's market with that person, go for it. Because it's going to be those really small things that make a difference. Like, oh, you took the time to come to the farmer's market with me. Or, let's see, what else? What else have we tried that was just like random and spontaneous? Take this podcast, for example.
Yeah.
Like, we literally started this podcast because, one, people were asking us to after our radio days ended, but, it's something else that we can do together.
Together.
Yeah. Insider. But yeah, I hope Vonda's listening to that. She'll get a kick out of that. But, yeah. So it's just like, take the time to, like, you have to come up with ways to break that monotony because it will eat you alive if you let it. But, it does not have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be just, ostentatious.
So ostentatious.
It can just be something as simple as, hey, let's have a road trip. What are you doing this weekend? Nothing? Okay, cool. Let's get in the car. And let's drive a couple hours to the next town where there's a different set of entertainment. And let's experience that, That might be kind of expensive, but still, go try a new restaurant. Try to cook a meal together. Like, invite them over and be like, hey, grab some groceries and let's pretend like we're on Chopped. And let's see what kind of dishes we can make. And let that be y'all's dinner that night,
Yeah.
Spontaneity. Is a really good way to just kind of get over those types of humps. So that would be my quick tip. Again, the small things matter. Take them into consideration.
Yes. My quick tip is
I'm almost sure that's not the original point I was trying to make, but either way, carry on.
Mine is ladies, play video games with your partner. And so I will say when we first moved in together, I was kind of like, I hope he's not one of those guys that just sits around playing video games all the time. Like, don't be that kind of dude. Like,
and I wasn't, I didn't even.
You were not.
I didn't even have a game console up until like a couple years ago. Like, probably over like a year and a half after we moved in together.
Exactly. So I was like, whoo,
and somebody
I'm so glad.
gave me that for free. Like
exactly.
my LB my frat brother gave me that. He was like, I don't even play this anymore. Here, take this 360. I was like,
so
okay,
then
cool.
When you got that, I was like, oh no, he's about to be one of those guys that just plays video games all the time. But then I realized, you know what? When I was a kid, I really liked playing Mortal Kombat. And like to the point where there was one party I went to in college where everybody's literally in the other room dancing. And I went into this guy, a friend of mine, this guy's room and started playing Mortal Kombat, like legit.
I don't know why you hesitated like you weren't in college when this happened.
No, I'm not saying like I just didn't want to be like, oh, I went into this guy's bedroom. But yeah,
That's where people keep their game consoles in college. Carry on.
Indeed, it's college. But yeah, so I was like, wait, I did like Mortal Kombat. And so we started playing Mortal Kombat together. And like that became like one of the most intimate things we could do because it was like our bonding time. Like I was able to like kill you with my katana blade, or you would demolish me with your who's your fave?
You should know who my favorite is.
I do.
So it depends on which version we're playing, because the 360 version has Noob Saibot on it. That's like my favorite guy on there because he can throw himself and attack you from a distance, but throw his clones of himself and attack you from a distance. But he's not on the latest one, but Sub-Zero, Scorpion. Yeah, I mean, I really can't. Raiden, one of my favorites,
that's what I was gonna say. But anyway, so we were able to like play this game together, and like, you know, it's like pretty brutal. I mean, it's Mortal Kombat, but
one of the most intimate things we do is rip each other's heads off in a video game.
And it was so fun. And so, you know, that was just amazing. And then at that point I was like, yeah, I'm just playing Mortal Kombat. That's it. Then one day you came home with, was it FIFA first?
It was FIFA.
You came home with FIFA like out of the blue. And I was like, okay, I'll give it a try. Man, we got hooked on FIFA. And I didn't like FIFA because I didn't like losing. And you would beat me like 10-1. And I would just be like, I'm over this. Then once I got better and started learning how to win, or at least get close, I was like, okay, this is fun. Then it became, I never really was a big fan of football. I'm still not a fan of football.
We're going to work on that.
But I love 2K. And it's so funny because one of my male coworkers, I just randomly mentioned such and such, and when Ryan and I play 2K, he's like, what? And so now I love that guys are like, oh, Ryan, you know, Tara plays 2K with Ryan. Like, because
I have a woman who plays video games.
Right. And
she can cook, she can clean, she can play video games. She's smart, she look good, she cook good.
Man.
She got a job. Hold on. She a fool, been to school, even walked across the stage. Got a professional career. Indeed. Keep getting promoted. And she plays video games.
Yeah. So.
Epic win. Shout out to me.
Shout out to you. So yeah, like, I mean, but that's just something we were able to do to bond with each other. And I'm not going to play Grand Theft Auto. Like, I don't get it. I think it's weird. Not my thing. I'm not gonna do what's the other, like, the shooting ones.
It's my Call of Duty.
I'm not gonna do Call of Duty. I don't know what Fortnite is, and I'm not gonna find out.
I'm not even trying to figure out what Fortnite is.
Hit me with Donkey Kong, hit me with Mortal Kombat, and then like 2K and FIFA, and I'm good. But yeah, it's like a very limited level, but it's just like an additional thing that we can do together, spend time together, bond. So yeah, I would say, like, think outside the box. Instead of fussing at your man for playing video games, maybe find one that you can play together.
Yep, that was like, I knew I had to marry you when you started trying. The first time you beat me in FIFA, I was like, she just beat me in a sports game. And I think you may have probably played any variation of any sport probably about 12 times in your entire life.
Oh yeah, I don't do sports in real life.
When you beat me in FIFA, I was like, okay, she's playing video games and she's not just doing this to spend time with me. She is legit having fun and actually beating. I'm not letting her win anymore. She's actually beating me now. Yeah,
it's so funny. We do a Christmas card every year, and one year we did one with us with the video controllers in our hands. So we were like playing the game, and people thought it was like a joke. And I was like, no, we really do play the game together. So yeah, that's my tip. I would say just give it a shot. Now, if you don't enjoy it, then, you know, don't do it. But
when I bought the Xbox One, fellas, take this advice. When I bought the Xbox One, I made sure I bought her a controller in her favorite color, which happens to be pink. So I made sure I got her favorite color for her own controller, and that, you know, helped a lot too.
Yeah, if you personalize anything for me, then I'm there.
Yeah. So yeah.
That was our not so quick tip. But
The
thanks.
tip itself was quick. The explanation was what took so long.
Indeed. But thanks for listening, guys. Again, this is Tara Talks Ryan Lessons.
Follow me on Instagram and Twitter, THERY_C, as in manhole up. It's the rye C, not the rye. What is the rye? I don't know how anybody could even. Anyway, carry on.
You can follow me at tcar_examiner if you want to, but most importantly, follow us at This is TTRL. We're on IG, so definitely check that out and make sure that you are sending in comments and questions for advice, and make sure that you are listening every week.
That pretty much wraps it up for us. Tune in next week when we talk about whatever we end up talking about. If you missed any of the previous episodes, they are still there. They're not going anywhere. They're going to stay up forever. And from there, go salute a woman. It is Women's History Month. Go support a minority business. Shout out LFLS Shoes. Thank you for listening.
Have a great week.